Hi everyone, welcome back to another video on the Reptiles channel, or called Reptilian Zoo, or Jake's Reptilian Zoo, whatever you want to call it. In today's video I'm going to be doing a care video on one of the most popular children's pets, very common in the pet industry. I can't speak today. But never mind. I have a giant African land snail right in front of me. I'll show you in a minute. This is Sully for your information. So say hi to Sully. Sully is around a year old at this moment in time. As you can see, it is a wet surface for you people that are worrying. Not just out on a dry surface. I'll explain that further later. But like I say, Sully's about a year old now, and is about, from this part of the body to the tip, I'd say about 5 inches. So not very big at the moment, but these guys, from this part to that part to the end of the shell, can literally get the length of a ruler, if you're lucky. But a lot of the time it will be around that big. So basically, in today's video I'm just going to be showing you the basic care for these guys. They are basic, so there isn't any advanced stuff if you don't want to worry. So yeah, we'll get straight into it. So, first of all I'm going to be talking about food and what they eat. These guys are fully herbivores. All they eat is vegetables. Their staple diet normally is lettuce and cucumber. They can eat other stuff such as carrots. They can eat certain fruits, but some fruits are out of bounds. Like, a lot of people do say they can eat strawberries. Personally, I think that's a bit of a risk. No acidic foods such as garlic, onions, anything in that family, spring beans, nothing acidic, nothing citrus. This pretty much always will kill the animal. Wash the food because you never know what chemicals have been on them. So yeah, and that brings me to handling next. Handling these guys, if you're handling for a long amount of time, put a water-based piece of food on your hand to put them on, such as lettuce or a piece of cucumber, so they don't really get exposed to your dry skin. Or, like what I'm doing at this moment in time, you can spray your hand, but this will need to be done frequently, obviously, because your hand will get dry. They do need a moist surface, so because if they didn't, their special skin could get infected or hurt by our dry hands. So it's definitely something that you need to watch out for. Next, I'm going to go on to calcium. Now, I should have really done this with the food, but calcium for these guys is extremely important. Just like tortoises, because of the shell, and turtles, these guys are basically invertebrates because their shell is on the outside of their body. If they do not get enough calcium, the shell will get very weak and it will break off. Looks like this guy has been cared for pretty much okay. I haven't had this for its whole lifespan, but some of the shell is a little bit chipped. At the moment in its cage, he, her, whatever you want to call it, they're both sex. It has crushed up eggshells and calcium on the food. I am planning on getting some of that fish stuff. I can't remember exactly what it's called. I have the worst memory. I bet I remember it straight after the shot, but I'm planning on getting some of that soon. I've run out of it. But crushed up eggshells, as long as it's washed, calcium on the food will do just fine as a staple calcium. But the most common is this fish sauce. I cannot remember what it's called. I sound stupid saying this, but just search up the calcium sources for giant African land snails. I will put it in the description because I can't remember at this point. But next I'm going to be going on to humidity. These guys do need a relatively humid area, hence why they need moist surfaces to go on. I'd say twice a day recommended. You spray down the whole cage, including the food, including the surfaces on the bottom of the cage, just to make sure that they will 100% be happy inside that cage. Another thing is, what is the other thing? I've literally just had it in my mind but now forgotten. Substrates. Now, the most common substrate for a giant African land snail is eco-earth or cocoa fibre. Don't get that mixed up with compost, because compost does have chemicals in that helps plants and not animals. So definitely buy a reptile-based substrate. Another easier option that won't do them any harm is damp tissue on the bottom. Holds moisture, which is amazing. Gives them a nice moist surface, but cocoa fibre and eco-earth does exactly the same, but it's easier to clean. I know you don't clean cocoa fibre and eco-earth once a week or twice a week or 3 times a week sometimes. It's normally about once every 2 months or once a month. Maybe you just spot clean. But personally, I find tissue easier. It has a nice moist surface on the bottom for it to go on, and you just take it out and put some more in and spray it. That is literally it. Sometimes I do put eco-earth on the bottom. It genuinely depends on the size of the animal. Now that brings me to cage size. Now I'm just going to go and get the cage and I'll talk to you about it. Right, so I'm back with the cage. This is the cage at this moment in time. It is a bit dirty, due to be cleaned soon. It has a lovely dish here, which has all of its food in. It has some cucumber and some lettuce with some calcium on top of it. Eggshells, like I said. And some tissue on the bottom, which does need cleaning. But this is a 14 by 14 by 9 centimeters. Now this will not do it its whole life. It could live in it, but I'd say that would be the bare minimum. Personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable housing an adult in something like this, which almost reaches the whole length of it. Some people do it. That's their choice. It won't harm the animal, but personally I recommend a cage at least double the size. And in here it has a water bowl, lovely water bowl with some tissue in it, which does have water about halfway, and then the tissue soaks it up so it isn't as deep, because at this size they can drown themselves. When they're older, you don't genuinely need the tissue in there, just don't fill it to the top, because then again it can drown them. I'm going to put some water in there now, because sometimes it is kind of funny. You do find them bathing in there, and it does look quite funny. And I'm just going to put some tissue in, and that'll soak it up. I do have a little bit of foliage in here, just a little bit, because you do tend to get everything mouldy a little bit. Well, not mouldy, but things tend to stink a little bit. No matter how much you clean them, things sometimes do stink a little bit, and things will just get horrible. So just put a little bit in. They won't use it, they don't need foliage, but it just makes the tank look a bit better, doesn't it? So yeah, this is the cage size for this time. Now I will do another video when the snail gets bigger, and I will show you the cage setup then. But for this moment in time, this is what it's in. It's got everything it needs, but it doesn't look the best. Some people tend to house them in glass cages, but for a not so expensive animal, I tend not to give them expensive cages. They still get what they need. They're not the most pretty animal in the world. This sounds like I'm roasting it. But all I'm saying is they can survive more than happily in a cage like this. As an adult in a cage like this, again, no. A double the size. I keep on going over and over again what I'm saying. But basically, that's all you need. at this size. Thanks for watching this video. If you did like it, please like and subscribe. Turn on the notifications bell if you want to see any other videos that I upload, because I will be uploading a lot of videos in terms of care for animals. If you want any care for animals, comment them down below and it will be turned into a video, I can tell you that for sure. So if you want some care, and if you want it straight from a person that has kept a lot of animals and still does, yeah, definitely comment down below and you'll get an answer. So thanks for watching this video, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.